The DNA test came back 0% match, but that's not what made me drop to my knees in the hospital parking lot. It was the handwritten note taped to the envelope, floral border, purple ink, that looping cursive I had seen on birthday cards for 6 years. It said, "Mom promised this would work." I sat there in my car, engine off, keys still in my hand. The envelope was thick. Premium Lab, embossed logo. The kind of official you can't fake. I'd opened it alone because I wanted to surprise Claire. Maybe frame it. Proof that Lily was ours, that the whispers from my mother-in-law about, "Are you sure it's yours?" were just her usual poison. The paper inside had that chemical smell. Hospital smell. The numbers were printed in cold, precise font, 0.0%. Probability of paternity? Excluded. My hands went numb. The envelope fell between my feet. I couldn't feel my legs. The world didn't stop. I did. If you've ever received news that shattered your reality in seconds, you know that sound, that hollow ringing in your ears when the world stops making sense, the way your chest feels too small for your lungs. If you know that feeling, just comment, "I understand." Let's acknowledge we're not alone in this. I picked up the note again. Floral stationery. Patricia kept a set at our house. She'd given them to Claire as a wedding gift. 4 thank you notes, she'd said. The O in Mom had that telltale tale Patricia always used. Purple ink, her signature color. Mom promised this would work. Work. Like Lily was a project. Like my daughter, her daughter, our daughter, was a transaction that needed to succeed or fail. I looked up at the hospital, 4th floor, maternity ward. Window 3rd from the left. Claire was up there right now, probably nursing. Lily was 19 hours old. She had gray-blue eyes and 10 perfect fingers, and she weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces, and according to science, she shared none of my DNA. I walked back into that hospital room, and my wife was holding her daughter, smiling like nothing had changed, but I knew everything had. 3 months earlier, we'd thrown a party. Not just any party, Patricia had insisted on hosting at her place. The big house with the garden and the chandelier and the catering kitchen she never used except for occasions. This was an occasion. Claire was 12 weeks pregnant, safe to announce. Patricia had printed the cards herself, cream cardstock with gold lettering, a new branch on our family tree. I'd thought it was a bit much. Claire had squeezed my hand under the table. "Just let her have this one," she'd whispered. "She's excited." 12 people crammed into Patricia's dining room. Claire's sister, Rebecca, her husband, Tom, Grandma Helen, some cousins I'd met twice, Patricia's book club friends, champagne glasses, sparkling cider for Claire, everyone toasting, everyone beaming. Patricia had made a speech. I remember that. She stood at the head of the table, glass raised, her hair perfect, her smile sharp. "To Claire and Marcus," she'd said, "and to the precious life growing inside my daughter. This baby is a gift, a blessing, the continuation of something beautiful." Everyone clinked glasses. Claire blushed. I put my arm around her. Then Patricia had pulled me aside in the kitchen. She'd touched my elbow, that firm grip she used when she wanted your full attention. "Marcus," she'd said, "this baby will fix everything." I'd laughed it off. "Fix what? We're good, Patricia." "Every marriage has its struggles," she'd said. Her eyes were too bright. "But a baby makes you a family, real family." I'd nodded, uncomfortable, and escaped back to Claire. I thought she meant our marriage. We'd been fighting more. Stupid stuff, stress from work, my hours, Claire's mother visiting too often, normal marriage friction. I thought Patricia meant the baby would bring us closer. Patricia pulled me aside that night and said, "This baby will fix everything." I thought she meant our marriage. I was so wrong. 2 weeks after Lily was born, I couldn't sleep. The note haunted me. I'd hidden it in my car, hadn't told Claire yet. I needed to understand first. I needed the timeline to make sense. So I started looking. Claire's pregnancy had been confirmed at 8 weeks. The The doctor had used her last menstrual period to calculate conception sometime around mid-February. Valentine's weekend, we'd joked. Romantic. But I'd been in Chicago that weekend. A work conference. 3 days. I'd called Claire every night. She'd said she was fine, staying home, binge-watching shows. I pulled out our shared calendar. February 14th, Marcus, Chicago, Claire, home. Then I checked her credit card statements. We had joint accounts. I'd never snooped before. It felt wrong, but the note, Mom promised this would work. February 15th, the Grand Pacific Hotel. Room charge, $287.50. I stared at that line for 5 minutes. The Grand Pacific was downtown, 30 miles from our house. Why would Claire book a hotel room when I was out of town? I kept digging. Her phone records, we were on a family plan. I had access. February 15th, 9:47 p.m. Outgoing call to Rachel College. 43 minutes. I knew Rachel. Claire's best friend from university. I'd met her at our wedding. She lived in Boston. I texted Rachel, casual. Hey, random question. Were you in town last February? Claire mentioned you guys hung out. Rachel replied within an hour. No. I was in London for work the whole month. Why? I didn't answer. I found the hotel receipt in Claire's jacket pocket, the gray blazer she'd worn that week, now hanging in the back of our closet. Thermal paper, already fading. Room 847, total $287.50. But there was something else tucked inside the pocket, a key card, plastic, slightly bent. I held it up to the light. The magnetic strip was scratched, swiped multiple times. I found the hotel receipt. The Grand Pacific. The same night Claire told me she was visiting her college friend Rachel, except Rachel had been in Europe that entire month. I waited until Lily was asleep. Claire was in the nursery rocking the bassinet gently, humming something soft. I stood in the doorway holding the receipt and the key card. Claire, she looked up, smiled. Hey, she's almost down. 2 more minutes. We need to talk. Something in my voice. She stopped rocking. Okay, let me just... Now. We went to our bedroom. I closed the door, laid the receipt on the bed between us. Claire stared at it. Her face went pale. Marcus, You were at the Grand Pacific, February 15th, the night we think Lily was conceived. I can explain. Were you alone? Silence. Claire, were you alone in that hotel room? Her hand started shaking. She sat down on the bed, picked up the receipt, put it down again. I don't remember. You don't remember? I remember fragments. Mom called me that afternoon. She said she needed to talk, that it was urgent. She asked me to meet her downtown, said it had to be private, that she couldn't come to the house. Why a hotel? I don't know. She said she'd booked a room so we could talk without interruptions. About Dad. She said she'd found something out about Dad. Claire's voice cracked. Her father had died 2 years ago. Lung cancer. She said it was sensitive, family stuff. And you just went? She's my mother, Marcus. She sounded upset. I went. Then what happened? Claire pressed her palms to her eyes. I remember getting there, the lobby. I remember Mom in the hallway, outside the room. She gave me something to drink, said it was tea, herbal. She said I looked stressed, that it would help me relax. My stomach turned. Tea. I drank it. We went inside the room. We talked, I think. It's blurry. I remember feeling really tired, really foggy, like I couldn't think straight. And then what? I don't know. I woke up the next morning, 6 a.m., still in the hotel room, still dressed. Mom was sitting in the chair by the window, just sitting there, watching me. I felt my blood turn to ice. I asked her what happened. She said I'd fallen asleep, that the tea had chamomile and I'd been exhausted and she'd let me rest. She said she'd stayed to make sure I was okay. She drove me home. She said not to mention it to you because you'd worry. Claire, I could barely get the words out. Do you remember anything else? Anyone else? No, She stopped, looked at me, really looked at me. Why are you asking me this? I pulled out my phone, showed her the photo I'd taken of the DNA test, the numbers. 1.5%. She read it again, her face crumpled. That's not possible. It's possible. No, you're Lily's father. You have to be. I didn't. You don't remember that night clearly, but I would remember. Would you? If you were drugged? The word hung in the air. Drugged. Claire stood up, paced, stopped. No, Mom wouldn't. She wouldn't do that. She's controlling, yes, but she wouldn't. I pulled out the note, the floral stationery, handed it to her. She read it. Her hands were shaking so hard the paper rattled. Where did you get this? It was taped to the DNA test in the envelope. She read it again. Mom promised this would work. We stared at each other. Then Claire opened her nightstand drawer, pulled out a journal, flipped to February, showed me an entry dated February 16th. Woke up at Mom's hotel feeling so weird, foggy, headache. Don't really remember last night. Mom said I fell asleep, felt wrong, can't explain, felt like I lost time. She flipped forward. February 20th. Still feeling off, like I'm forgetting something important. Marcus is in Chicago. Wish I could talk to him. Mom keeps calling. February 25th. Mom came over with supplements, said they'll help with the foggy feeling. Prenatal vitamins, she said. Special blend. Claire looked at me. I still have them. She went to the bathroom, came back with a white bottle, generic label, handwritten, prenatal blend, Mom's recipe. Inside, beige capsules. She said, I woke up in that hotel room at 6 a.m. and Mom was there, just sitting in the chair, watching me. And I felt my blood turn to ice. I called Patricia the next morning, told her I needed to talk. Just us. She suggested her house. I suggested a coffee shop. Public place. I needed witnesses, even if they didn't know they were witnesses. I got there first, sat in the back corner, put my phone on the table, recording app open, hidden under a napkin. Patricia arrived exactly on time. She always did. Hair perfect, cream blouse, that smile that never reached her eyes. Marcus, this is unexpected. Is everything all right with Lily? Sit down, Patricia. She sat, folded her hands. You seem tense. I slid the DNA test across the table. She looked at it. Didn't pick it up, just looked. I see you've been doing some testing. 0% match, Patricia. That's all you have to say? She sipped the coffee she'd ordered. Marcus, I understand you're upset, but you need to understand something. I love my daughter. I love my granddaughter. Everything I do is for family. What did you do? I protected our bloodline. The words were so casual, so calm, like she was discussing gardening. Our bloodline, she leaned forward, pulled a navy blue binder from her bag, 3-ring, opened it, pages and pages of photocopied medical records, highlighted sections. Your family, Marcus. Your father struggled with depression. Your uncle was an alcoholic. Your cousin has ADHD. I did my research. These things are genetic, heritable. You researched my family's medical history? Of course. When Claire started dating you, I had to know what we were getting into. We? Our family, the bloodline. I couldn't let Claire marry someone whose genetics would compromise our grandchildren. I stared at her. You're insane. I'm practical. She tapped the binder. I found a better option. Someone with clean genetics, strong family history, no mental illness, no addiction, no genetic diseases. You found... I couldn't breathe. You hired someone to assault your daughter? Assault is such an ugly word. I facilitated a solution. Claire was happy in her marriage. I'll give you that. But happiness isn't everything. Genetics matter. Legacy matters. You drugged her. I helped her relax. She was so stressed. The tea had mild sedatives, prescription strength. I picked them up using her insurance. She'd had a prescription for sleep aid years ago during college. I simply refilled it. And then what? You called someone? You arranged? Patricia smiled, actually smiled. I found a suitable donor through a private service, very discreet, very professional. He thought he was helping a wealthy family with fertility issues. I paid him $15,000. He signed an agreement. Everything was legal. Above board. Nothing about this is legal. Lower your voice, Marcus. People are staring. I looked around. They were. The barista. 2 college students at the next table. An old man by the window. I lowered my voice. Claire didn't consent. Claire wanted a baby. Not like this. She has a beautiful, healthy baby. Perfect genetics. No risk of your family's problems. In 20 years, she'll thank me. She'll never thank you. She'll never forgive you. Patricia closed the binder, sipped her coffee. She'll come around. She always does. She's my daughter. Blood is thicker than water. And what about Lily? What about her blood? Lily is perfect. That's what matters. Patricia smiled, actually smiled, and said, Marcus, you need to understand. Your family has a history of mental illness. I couldn't let that pollute our bloodline. Our bloodline. I left that coffee shop with the recording on my phone and a name, Jason Hendricks. Patricia had said it once casually, like it didn't matter. The donor's name was Jason, very nice young man, graduate student. I hired a private investigator that afternoon, gave him everything, the name, the date, the hotel, the bank transfer amount, $15,000. Patricia had paid someone $15,000 to rape my wife. The PI called me 3 days later. Found him. Jason Hendricks, 28 years old, PhD candidate in bioengineering at State University, clean record, no criminal history. The PI sent me a dossier, photos, social media, email trail, and there, in a folder marked Evidence, Bank Transfer Records. February 10th, Patricia's account to Jason's, $15,000. Memo line, consultation services. Then, Facebook messages. Patricia had used a fake profile. Helen Morrison, fertility specialist. I recognized some of the photos she'd used. They were cropped from her book club pictures. The messages started in January. Hello, Jason. I'm reaching out because I've heard wonderful things about your academic background and family health history. I work with a private fertility service for high net worth individuals. Would you be interested in a consultation? Jason's reply, I'm not sure what this is about, but I'm always open to opportunities. Can you tell me more? Weeks of messages, Patricia spinning a story, a family friend who needed a sperm donor, very private, very discreet. The client wanted to meet the donor in person, just once, to feel a connection. It was important for her healing journey. Jason had agreed. He'd thought he was helping. Patricia's last message, February 14th. The client is ready to meet you tomorrow evening. The Grand Pacific Hotel, room 847, 10 p.m. She's a bit shy. I've given her something to help her relax. Please be gentle. This means everything to her. I read that message 5 times. I called Jason. He answered on the 3rd ring. Hello? Jason Hendricks? Yeah, who's this? My name is Marcus. My wife is Claire. February 15th. The Grand Pacific Hotel. You were there. Silence then. Oh my God. You remember? Yes, I remember. But it wasn't, I thought it was consensual? Yes. The woman on the phone, Helen, she said it was all arranged. That Claire wanted to meet me. That she was nervous but willing. She said Claire had taken something to relax, but that she'd consented to everything beforehand. She was drugged. What? She was drugged by her mother. She doesn't remember that night. She woke up the next morning with no memory of what happened. I heard Jason's breathing change, Fast, panicked. No, no, that's not, I didn't, I'm not saying you knew. I'm saying you were used. I would never, I'm not. His voice broke. She seemed out of it, quiet. I thought maybe she was just shy or anxious, or I should have known. I should have stopped. Patricia manipulated both of you. Who's Patricia? Helen Morrison, the fertility specialist. That's not her real name. That's Claire's mother. Silence, long silence. Then, Claire's mother? She orchestrated the whole thing. Found you, paid you, drugged her own daughter, set up the meeting. She wanted to control the genetics of her grandchild. I'm going to be sick. I need your help. I need you to testify. I need you to give a statement to the police about what Patricia told you, what she paid you, everything. Yes, God, yes. I'll do anything. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I met him 2 days later. Coffee shop, different one. He brought everything. Emails, bank records, the fake donor agreement Patricia had sent him. She'd forged a fertility clinic's letterhead, made it look official. Jason Hendricks thought he was helping a wealthy family friend with fertility issues. He had no idea he'd drugged and assaulted my wife. And when I showed him the hospital timestamps, he went pale. Lily came home from the hospital when she was 4 days old. Claire carried her across the threshold. I followed with the car seat and the diaper bag and the enormous teddy bear Patricia had sent. For my precious granddaughter, the card said. Claire saw the bear, stopped. Get rid of it. What? I don't want anything from her in this house. Nothing she touched, nothing she bought. Get rid of it. I put the bear in the garage. Later I'd throw it away. But first I needed to focus on the two people in front of me who actually mattered. Claire set up Lily in the bassinet we'd put in our bedroom. We weren't ready for her to be in the nursery yet. Too far away. We needed her close. I watched Claire change Lily's first diaper at home, dress her in the tiny onesie we'd bought together, white with yellow ducks. Not the outfit Patricia had purchased. That one was still in the hospital bag, unworn. She's so small, Claire whispered. She's perfect. Is she? Claire looked at me, eyes red. Is she perfect, or is she just evidence of what my mother did? She's a baby. She's innocent. I know she is. But every time I look at her, I see the hotel room. I see my mother sitting in that chair. I see... Don't do that to yourself, or to her. Claire picked Lily up, held her close. I love her, I do. But I'm so angry, all the time, and I don't know where to put it. I sat next to them. Lily's eyes were open, gray-blue. She was looking around, unfocused, the way newborns do. Then her tiny hand reached out, grabbed my finger, just wrapped around it. Instinct. Babies do that, it's a reflex. But it didn't feel like a reflex. Her hand was warm. Her grip was strong. I could feel her pulse, fast, bird quick, in her tiny palm. And I thought, this is not her fault. None of this is her fault. Drop a red flag if you've ever met someone who believed their cruelty was kindness. Comment, I've seen it if this resonates. Your story matters. I looked at Claire. She was watching me, watching Lily hold my finger. What are you thinking? She asked. I'm thinking about my father, my dad, adoptive dad. How he used to tell me that family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up. Your dad was a good man. He was, and he chose me. Every day he chose me. I looked down at Lily. She opened her eyes, gray-blue, like all newborns, and she wrapped her tiny hand around my finger. And I thought, this is not her fault. None of this is her fault. The support network fractured fast. Patricia didn't wait. Within a week, she'd posted on Facebook a long, emotional post about how our family is under attack from paranoid delusions and cruel accusations. How she was heartbroken that her son-in-law would fabricate lies about her to alienate her from her grandchild. She painted herself as the victim, the devoted mother, the loving grandmother who just wanted to be part of Lily's life. The comments poured in. Her book club friends, her church group, people who'd known Patricia for decades and had no idea what she was really like. Praying for you, Patricia. Some people are so ungrateful. You've always been such a wonderful mother. Hang in there. The truth always comes out. Claire's phone started ringing. Cousins, aunts, Patricia's friends. Some were concerned. Some were accusatory. What's going on with your mom? Why are you keeping Lily from her grandmother? Patricia says Marcus is controlling you. Is that true? Claire stopped answering. Let them go to voicemail. But then her sister Rebecca called. Claire, I need to know what's really happening, Claire told her. Everything. The hotel, the drugging, the DNA test, Jason Hendricks, the recording of Patricia admitting it all. Silence on the other end. Then, send me the recording. Claire sent it. Rebecca called back an hour later. I believe you, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You believe me? Of course I believe you. You're my sister, and honestly, this explains so much about Mom. The way she's always been, the control, the manipulation. I thought I was crazy for years. You're not crazy. She is. That night, another email arrived. This one from Grandma Helen, Claire's grandmother, Patricia's mother. The subject line, I should have spoken up sooner. Inside, a scanned letter, dated 1987, yellowed paper folded into thirds. The creases were fuzzy from being folded and unfolded hundreds of times. Claire read it aloud to me, her voice shaking. My dear Helen, I'm writing this down because I'm afraid if I don't, I'll convince myself it didn't happen. 3 months ago, Patricia questioned whether David was really Robert's son. She said he didn't look like our family, that his features were off. I told her she was being ridiculous. 2 weeks later, I went to dinner with her. She made me tea. I woke up the next morning in a hotel room with gaps in my memory and bruises on my arms. Patricia was there. She told me I had had too much to drink, that I'd fallen. But I hadn't had any alcohol. I know I hadn't. A month later, I found out I was pregnant again, with Thomas. Patricia was thrilled. She said Thomas was a blessing. She said he would fix our family. I never got a DNA test. I was too afraid of what it would prove. I'm writing this in case it happens again, in case she does this to someone else. I'm sorry I wasn't braver. I'm sorry I didn't stop her. Please forgive me. Helen, June 1987. Claire looked at me. She did this to Grandma. She did this before. Then Grandma Helen sent the letter, the one from 1987. And it said, Patricia did the same thing to me when I questioned who your Uncle David's father really was. Claire started therapy 3 days later. Dr. Yolanda Torres, specialist in trauma and family systems. I drove Claire to the first appointment, waited in the lobby with Lily. When Claire came out, her eyes were swollen. How was it? Hard, really hard, but necessary. She went twice a week. Sometimes she'd come home and just hold Lily and cry. Sometimes she'd come home and need to be alone. I learned to read the signs, learned when to push and when to give space. One night, about 3 weeks in, Claire showed me something she'd written in therapy. A letter, not to send, just to write. Dr. Torres had assigned it. Dear Marcus, it read, I know I've said I'm sorry 100 times, but I need to say it again, in writing, so you know I mean it. I brought Patricia into our lives. I defended her when you said she was too controlling. I thought I was being a good daughter. I thought setting boundaries with her was cruel. And because of my blindness, because I couldn't see what she really was, you were hurt. I was hurt. And an innocent baby was created from an act of violence. I have to live with that. I have to live with knowing that my mother drugged me, arranged for me to be assaulted, and used my body to create a child she could control. I don't know how to carry that, but I'm learning, and I promise you this. I will protect Lily from her. I will break this cycle. I will make sure she grows up knowing that love is not control, that family is not ownership, that she is her own person. I can't undo what happened, but I can define what happens next. I'm choosing to heal. I'm choosing to be the mother Lily deserves. And I'm choosing to fight for us, if you'll let me. I love you. I'm sorry. Claire. I read it twice, then I pulled her close. You don't have to apologize to me. You're a victim too. But I feel responsible. Feelings aren't facts. Patricia's responsible. Only Patricia. 2 months in, Claire joined a support group. Survivors of Assault. She'd been nervous about it. But after the first meeting, she came home different. Lighter. I said it out loud, she told me. I said it in front of 10 strangers, and they believed me. What did you say? I said, my mother drugged and arranged for me to be raped so she could control my genetics. I am a victim, and I need to protect my daughter from her. In group therapy, Claire finally said it out loud. My mother drugged and arranged for me to be raped so she could control my genetics. I am a victim, and I need to protect my daughter from her. Recovery isn't linear. If you're on a healing journey, drop a blue heart below. We hired an attorney in April, Rachel Park. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, 15 years in family law and criminal defense. She came recommended by Dr. Torres. We met in her office, brought everything. The DNA test, the note, the hotel records, the credit card statements, Jason's bank transfers, the Facebook messages, the recording of Patricia's confession, the pharmacy record showing Patricia had picked up sedatives using Claire's prescription, Grandma Helen's letter. Rachel spread it all across her conference table, took her time, read everything twice. Finally, she looked up. This is prosecutable conspiracy. Conspiracy to commit sexual assault, possibly trafficking, depending on how the DA wants to charge it. She drugged your wife, she paid a third party, she facilitated the assault. This wasn't a one-time impulse. This was planned, premeditated, documented. Can we get a restraining order? Absolutely. Emergency protective order first, then we'll go for a permanent one, and I'll refer this to the police for criminal investigation. What about Lily? The restraining order will include Lily. No contact, no visits, no phone calls, nothing. Claire's hands were shaking. She's going to fight this. Let her fight, Rachel said. We have evidence. She recorded her own conspiracy through those Facebook messages. She admitted it to Marcus on tape. She has no defense. What about statute of limitations? I asked. Sexual assault in this state has a 10-year statute for felony charges. We're well within it. The drugging adds another layer. That's separate charges. The fraud with the prescription, the identity theft for the fake fertility profile, the financial transaction for illegal services, it stacks. Rachel started organizing the evidence into exhibits, labeled folders, AM, each piece of evidence photographed, copied, logged. I'm going to be honest with you, she said. This is going to get ugly. Patricia will try to spin this. She'll claim you're making it up, that you're vindictive, that you're trying to keep her from her grandchild. She'll play the victim card hard. We know, Claire said. But we have something she doesn't have. What? The truth and proof. Attorney Park looked up from the binder and said 4 words I'll never forget. This is prosecutable conspiracy. Patricia was going down. The restraining order hearing was set for May 12th. Family court. Judge Morrison, no relation to Patricia, thank God. We arrived early. Rachel in a navy suit, carrying the evidence binder. Claire in a gray dress, hands folded. Me in my only suit. Lily in a car seat I held close. Patricia was already there, with her lawyer. Tall man, silver hair, expensive suit. He looked confident. He shouldn't have been. The hearing started at 9 a.m. Judge Morrison, a woman in her 60s with steel gray hair and reading glasses on a chain, called the case. Petition for emergency restraining order. Claire and Marcus Reed versus Patricia Whitmore. Ms. Park, you're representing the petitioners? Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Gaines, you're representing Ms. Whitmore. I am, Your Honor. Ms. Park, present your case. Rachel stood, opened the binder. Your Honor, this is not a standard family dispute. This is a case involving drugging, conspiracy to commit sexual assault, fraud, and ongoing harassment. I'll be presenting 14 exhibits and calling 2 witnesses. She started with Exhibit A, the DNA test, explained the 0% match, then Exhibit B, the note in Patricia's handwriting. Mr. Gaines objected. This is circumstantial. A note doesn't prove anything. Judge Morrison looked at him over her glasses. I'll determine what proves what, Mr. Gaines. Continue, Ms. Park. Rachel presented the hotel records, the credit card statements, the key card access logs showing Patricia entering room 847 at 11:47 p.m. and leaving at 6:02 a.m. Then the pharmacy records, prescriptions filled under Claire's name for sedatives, picked up by Patricia using Claire's insurance card. That's prescription fraud, Your Honor. Then Jason Hendricks took the stand. He looked nervous. Rachel walked him through it gently. His initial contact with Helen Morrison, the Facebook messages, the $15,000 payment, the agreement he'd signed thinking he was helping with fertility services. And what happened when you arrived at the hotel room? Rachel asked. I met Claire. She seemed out of it, quiet. I thought maybe she was nervous. Helen, Ms. Whitmore, had told me she'd taken something to relax. I thought it was consensual. I thought everything had been arranged. And now? Now I know I was used. I know I participated in an assault without knowing it. I'll carry that for the rest of my life. Mr. Gaines tried to cross-examine. Mr. Hendricks, did you ever meet Patricia Whitmore in person? No, everything was through the fake profile. So you can't positively identify her as the person who contacted you. Rachel stood. Your Honor, Exhibit J bank record showing the $15,000 transfer from Patricia Whitmore's personal account to Jason Hendricks. Date, February 10th. Memo, consultation services. Mr. Gaines sat down. Then Grandma Helen testified. She was 82, walked with a cane. But her voice was strong. She read portions of her 1987 letter, described waking up in a hotel room with no memory, described Patricia's reaction. She told me I should be grateful that she was fixing our family. Ms. Morrison, are you saying your daughter has done this before? I'm saying my daughter has a pattern of believing she knows best, even when best means drugging people and violating their autonomy. Then came Exhibit M, the teddy bear. Rachel held it up. During a security sweep of the petitioner's home, this teddy bear was found in the nursery. It was a gift from Patricia Whitmore. Inside, she unscrewed the back, showed the camera, the circuit board, the SD card. A hidden camera, Wi-Fi enabled, streaming to an IP address registered to Patricia Whitmore's home. 3 months of footage of Claire, of Marcus, of baby Lily. The courtroom went silent. Judge Morrison looked at Patricia. Ms. Whitmore, is this true? Patricia stood. Your Honor, I was concerned for my grandchild's safety. I had a right to ensure. You had no right. Sit down. Patricia sat. Judge Morrison took off her reading glasses. I've heard enough. The emergency restraining order is granted. 5-year term. No contact with Claire Reed, Marcus Reed, or the minor child Lily Reed. No phone calls, no emails, no social media contact, no third-party contact. Ms. Whitmore, if you violate this order, you will be arrested. Do you understand? Patricia's face crumpled, but she wasn't crying from remorse. She was crying from loss of control. Your Honor, she's my granddaughter. She is not your property. This hearing is adjourned. The judge granted the restraining order. 5 years. No contact with Claire, Marcus, or baby Lily. Patricia's face crumpled, but she wasn't crying from remorse. She was crying because she lost control. The restraining order held for 6 weeks. 6 weeks of peace. 6 weeks where we could breathe, where Claire could take Lily to the park without looking over her shoulder, where I could go to the grocery store without wondering if Patricia would be in the parking lot. We installed a security system, doorbell camera, motion sensors. It felt paranoid. But after the hidden teddy bear, paranoia felt like common sense. Life found a rhythm. Lily was 2 months old, starting to smile. Real smiles, not just gas. Claire was healing, slowly. Therapy twice a week. She'd stopped crying every time she looked at Lily. Started seeing her daughter instead of Patricia's crime. I went back to work. Partial schedule. My boss was understanding. Family first, he'd said. Take the time you need. We were learning how to be parents, the normal stuff. Diaper changes and midnight feedings, and the way Lily would only fall asleep if you patted her back in a specific rhythm. We were building something that was ours. And then, on June 23rd, at 3:47 p.m., the doorbell rang. I was working from home. Claire was upstairs with Lily, trying to get her down for a nap. I glanced at the doorbell camera app on my phone. Patricia, standing on our porch, holding a pink gift bag. My blood went cold. I opened the app's two-way speaker. Patricia, you're violating the restraining order. Leave now or I'm calling the police. Her voice came through tinny. Marcus, please. I just want to see her. 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes with my granddaughter. No, leave. She needs to know me. She needs to know her grandmother. She has a grandmother. Helen, you're nothing to her. I made her. Don't you understand? I chose her genetics. I made her possible. You assaulted Claire. I saved our bloodline. I was already dialing 911. Claire appeared at the top of the stairs, Lily in her arms. Is that? Stay upstairs. Lock the bedroom door. Patricia's voice got louder. I have rights, grandparent rights. I can petition the court. You can't keep her from me. The 911 operator answered. 911, what's your emergency? My mother-in-law is at my house violating a restraining order. She's on my porch right now. I need police immediately. I gave the address. The operator stayed on the line. Patricia was still talking, her voice rising. I'll take this back to court. I'll prove you're unfit. I'll prove Marcus isn't the father. We already proved that, Patricia. You proved it when you drugged your daughter and arranged for her to be raped. Silence. Then, you're going to regret this, both of you. You're keeping an innocent child from her family. You're not her family. You're her origin story, and every villain gets defeated eventually. I heard sirens. 2 minutes. The police were 2 minutes away. Patricia heard them too. She set the gift bag down on the porch, straightened her jacket, started walking toward her car. Ma'am, a voice from the street. Ma'am, stop right there. 2 officers, 1 male, 1 female, body cams on. Patricia stopped, turned, smiled. Officers, thank goodness you're here. My son-in-law has been keeping my granddaughter from me. I just wanted to drop off a gift. Ma'am, are you Patricia Whitmore? Yes, but you're under arrest for violating a restraining order? Her smile disappeared. What? No, I wasn't bothering anyone. I just wanted to see my granddaughter. You have a court order prohibiting contact with this residence and its occupants. You violated that order. Turn around and place your hands behind your back. This is ridiculous. I'm her grandmother. I have rights. Ma'am, turn around. Patricia turned. The female officer put her in handcuffs. Read her Miranda rights. Patricia looked at our doorbell camera, looked right into the lens. This isn't over, Marcus. She's my blood. Mine more than yours. I made this happen. I chose her genetics. You can't erase me. The officers walked her to the patrol car, put her in the back seat. I watched through the window as they drove away. Then I went upstairs. Claire was sitting on the bed, holding Lily, shaking. Is she gone? She's arrested. Good, good. But Claire didn't look relieved. She looked exhausted. Patricia showed up at our door, tried to take Lily, claimed grandparent rights. Doorbell camera caught everything. Patricia was arrested on our doorstep. Her lawyer quit when he learned she'd lied. The next morning, Patricia's lawyer called Rachel. "I'm withdrawing from the case." "Why?" "Because my client lied to me. About everything. The DNA test, the hotel, the drugging. She told me Marcus was a vindictive son-in-law making things up, that the restraining order was based on hearsay. She showed me none of the actual evidence. And now? Now I've seen the police report from yesterday's violation. I've seen the body cam footage. I heard what she said on that doorbell camera. I chose her genetics. I made her possible. That's an admission of conspiracy. I don't represent liars. I'm done." Patricia had to find a new lawyer. It took her 3 weeks. By then, the DA had filed criminal charges. Conspiracy to commit sexual assault, prescription fraud, identity theft, unlawful surveillance, and now, violation of a restraining order. Her new lawyer tried to negotiate. Ms. Whitmore is willing to plead to lesser charges in exchange for supervised visitation rights. Rachel's response: "No deal. Your client can plead guilty to the conspiracy charge and accept probation with mandatory counseling, or we go to trial. There will be no visitation, ever, unless Lily, as an adult, chooses to meet her." Patricia's lawyer quit when he realized she'd lied to him about everything. She was facing charges, and we were finally safe. But Marcus still hadn't answered the question. Would he be Lily's father? Here's a question I want you to think about. When someone you love has been victimized, but their choices before that victimization brought danger into your life, how do you balance compassion with boundaries? Comment compassion first, or boundaries first. There's no wrong answer. This is complicated. That night, after Lily was asleep, I sat in the nursery. Just sat in the rocking chair in the dark, listening to her breathe. Claire found me there an hour later. "You okay?" "I don't know." She sat on the floor next to the chair. We were quiet for a while. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "The adoption papers. We'd gotten them a week ago, from Rachel. Simple forms, just needed signatures, legal adoption, making Lily legally mine, not just emotionally. Have you decided?" "I keep going back and forth." "Tell me." I took a breath. "Part of me wants to sign them immediately. She's my daughter. I love her. Biology doesn't matter." "And the other part?" "The other part is angry, so angry. At Patricia, at the situation, at the fact that I even have to make this choice. It shouldn't be a choice. She should have been mine from the beginning. But she wasn't. No, she wasn't. And I can't pretend she was. I can't pretend Patricia doesn't exist. I can't pretend this didn't happen." Claire was quiet. "But," I continued, "I also can't pretend that Lily is anything other than innocent. She didn't ask for this. She didn't choose how she came into the world. None of us do." I looked at Lily in her crib. She was sleeping on her back, arms up by her head, the way babies do, like she was surrendering to sleep. "My dad," I said, "my adoptive dad, he died when I was 17, lung cancer. At the funeral, some distant relative, asked me if I ever wanted to find my real father." "What did you say?" I said, "I just buried him." Claire reached up, took my hand. "Biology didn't make him my dad," I said. "Showing up made him my dad. Being there made him my dad. Choosing me every single day made him my dad." I pulled out my wallet, showed Claire a photo I kept tucked behind my license. Me at age 6, sitting on my dad's shoulders, both of us grinning. He kept my baby handprint card in his office for 30 years, until he died. It was in a frame on his desk, purple ink on cardstock, 5 tiny fingers. I looked at Lily's crib, at the hospital discharge papers in the folder on the changing table, at the tiny handprint card they'd given us. I look at that card and I see his desk. I see him choosing me every single day. Claire was crying, silent tears. I can't control how Lily came into this world, I said, but I can control who I am in her world. So what does that mean? It means I'm signing the papers. I looked at the photo of my own adoptive father and realized he chose me too. I told Claire, I can't pretend Patricia doesn't exist. I can't pretend this didn't happen, but I can choose who I become because of it. I choose to be Lily's father. The adoption hearing was in August. Lily was 4 months old. We dressed her in a yellow dress, the color of hope, Claire said. I wore my suit. Claire wore the same gray dress from the restraining order hearing. Lucky dress, Judge Morrison again. She smiled when she saw us. Back again. Under better circumstances, I hope. Yes, Your Honor, Rachel said. This is a step-parent adoption petition. Marcus Reed is petitioning to legally adopt Lily Reed. The judge reviewed the paperwork. And the biological father has relinquished all parental rights, Your Honor, voluntarily. His affidavit is included. Jason had signed it a month ago. I don't want to be a shadow in her life, he'd written. I want her to have a real father, someone who chooses to be there. Judge Morrison looked at me. Mr. Reed, do you understand that by adopting Lily, you're taking on full legal and financial responsibility for her? That you'll be her father in every legal sense? Yes, Your Honor. And you're doing this willingly. More than willingly. I'm doing it gratefully. She smiled, signed the papers. Then it's done. Congratulations. Lily Reed is legally your daughter. The gavel came down. Claire was crying. I was crying. Lily was making spit bubbles, oblivious. We took a photo in the hallway, the three of us, Claire holding Lily, me with my arm around both of them. Rachel took the picture. This is a good one, she said, showing us. This is a family. Patricia took a plea deal in September. The DA offered it to avoid a trial. Guilty plea to conspiracy to commit sexual assault and prescription fraud. 3 years probation, 500 hours of community service, mandatory counseling, permanent supervised contact only, meaning if Lily ever wanted to meet her as an adult, it would have to be with a therapist present, and she had to write an apology letter to Claire, not to get forgiveness, just to acknowledge what she'd done. It arrived in October. Claire opened it, read it, handed it to me. Dear Claire, I apologize for my actions. I understand now that I violated your autonomy and caused you harm. I hope someday you can understand that my intentions were good, even if my methods were wrong. I love you. I love Lily. I hope someday we can be a family again. Mom, Claire crumpled it up, threw it away. Her intentions were good, she said. Good intentions to drug me, good intentions to arrange my assault. She'll never get it, I said. Some people are too broken to fix. I'm not sad about cutting her out anymore. Good, you shouldn't be. If you or someone you know is dealing with a controlling or dangerous family member, please know. The law can protect you. Restraining orders are real tools. Document everything. You have rights. Share this if it might help someone in your life understand their options. Claire started writing, at first just in her journal, processing, working through it with Dr. Torres. But then, one day she asked me if it would be okay if she published an essay about what happened. Not with names, she said, anonymized, but the story. About maternal narcissism, about reproductive coercion, about surviving and healing. It's your story. You get to tell it however you want. She submitted it to an online magazine, Women's Trauma and Recovery. They accepted it in 3 days. The essay went live in November. It went viral in 2 hours. 10,000 shares in the first day. 20,000 by the end of the week. Comments poured in. This happened to me, too. My mother did something similar. Thank you for speaking up. Claire read every comment, responded to dozens, started a support group, online first, then in person. Survivors of family-perpetrated assault. She was turning her pain into purpose, and Lily was growing. sleeping through the night, laughing at silly faces, starting to grab at toys. We were healing, all of us. 2 years later. Lily is 2.5 now. She talks in full sentences, asks a million questions, loves dinosaurs and refuses to wear anything that isn't purple. She's in preschool 3 days a week, Miss Jennifer's class, 10 kids, bright room with finger paintings on the walls. One day in March, I pick her up from school. Miss Jennifer pulls me aside. "I need to show you something." She hands me a piece of construction paper. Crayon drawing, 4 stick figures. 1 tall with brown hair, me. 1 medium with yellow hair, Claire. 1 small with brown curly hair, Lily. 1 older figure with gray hair, Grandma Helen. Above each figure, Lily had labeled them. In her preschool handwriting, letters big and wobbly, Data, Mama, me, G-ma, Helen. I asked the class to draw their families, Miss Jennifer said. Lily drew this. And then another student asked, "What about your other grandma?" And Lily said, "What did she say?" Miss Jennifer smiled. She said, "We don't talk about the lady who made bad choices." I stared at the drawing. 4 people, chosen family, built from love, not obligation. "She's a wise kid," Miss Jennifer said. "She is." The teacher asked, "What about your other grandma?" And Lily said, "We don't talk about the lady who made bad choices." Out of the mouths of babes. That night I showed the drawing to Claire. We were in the kitchen making dinner. Lily was in the living room, watching a dinosaur show. Claire looked at the drawing for a long time. 4 people, she said. 4 people. She knows. Not the details, but she knows what matters. We did okay, didn't we? I pulled her close. We did more than okay. We hung the drawing on the refrigerator, right next to Lily's adoption certificate, the one from August, 2 years ago, when Judge Morrison made it official. Both documents, different kinds of proof, same truth. Biology told me no, but humanity told me yes. Marcus's adoptive father told him once, "Biology is a lottery. Love is a choice." Do you have someone in your life who chose to show up for you even when they didn't have to? A teacher, a friend's parent, a coach, a neighbor? Drop their first name or just yes if you want to honor them silently. Chosen family is real family. Last month we got a letter from Patricia's probation officer. Just an update, routine. Patricia had completed her community service, was attending counseling weekly, had not violated the restraining order since the arrest. The restraining order expires in 3 years. At that point, she could petition for modification. But, the letter said, given the criminal conviction and the circumstances, any petition would require Lily's consent. As she is currently a minor, no contact will be permitted until she reaches age 18, at which point she can decide for herself if she wishes any relationship with Ms. Whitmore. 15 years from now, Lily will be 18. She'll be able to read this story. She'll be able to decide if she wants to meet Patricia, to hear her side, to form her own opinion. And whatever she decides, we'll support her. Because that's what family does. Real family, chosen family. Yesterday, Lily asked me about the DNA test envelope. We keep it in a memory box in the office, along with her hospital bracelet, the adoption certificate, Claire's essay, the letter from Grandma Helen, evidence of where we've been, proof that we survived. Lily found the box, curious kid, always exploring. Dada, what's this? She was holding the envelope, the thick one with the embossed logo. I sat down next to her, took it from her gently. That's a letter that told me something important. What did it say? How do you explain DNA to a 2.5-year-old? It told me that you and I are different in some ways, but the same in the ways that matter. Like how? Well, we both love dinosaurs, and purple, and mama, And we both choose to be a family every day. Choose? Yeah, kiddo. Family isn't automatic. It's a choice. And I choose you every single day. She thought about this. I choose you too, Dada. Good. Then we're set. She went back to playing with her dinosaurs, and I put the envelope back in the box. Some truths can hurt and heal at the same time. Tonight, we're having dinner with Grandma Helen and Rebecca and her family. Sunday dinner, a tradition we started last year. Claire is making lasagna, Lily is helping, which means she's spreading sauce on the counter, and herself. I'm setting the table. 8 chairs, enough for all of us. Rebecca's kids, Emma and Noah, ages 5 and 7, will play with Lily after dinner. Grandma Helen will tell stories about when she was young. We'll laugh. We'll eat too much. We'll be loud and chaotic and imperfect. We'll be family. Not the family Patricia wanted, not the family genetics dictated, the family we chose, the family we built, the family that showed up. No biology, no obligation, just choice. This story is about more than DNA. It's about the families we build when the families we're born into break us. If you have a chosen family story, someone who became your parent, sibling, or child, not through blood, but through showing up, I want to hear it. Share in the comments. Let's fill this space with proof that love is stronger than genetics. And if this story helped you process something you've been carrying, hit subscribe. We tell the hard stories here. You're not alone. I keep the DNA test, not as evidence anymore, as a reminder that truth can hurt and heal, that endings can be beginnings, that 0% can somehow equal everything. Lily draws pictures every day now. Her stick figures are getting better, more detailed. Soon she'll draw faces with actual expressions. Soon she'll write full sentences instead of labels. But for now, I have this one. 4 people. Dada, Mama, me, G, Ma, Helen. I keep it in a frame on my desk at work, next to the photo of my father, my adoptive father, with me on his shoulders. 2 generations, 2 chosen families, same truth. Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who shows up when the blood is drawn, and we showed up. For each other, for Lily, for the family we chose to be. Patricia took a plea deal, probation, mandatory counseling, permanent supervised contact only if Lily ever consents as an adult. She sent an apology letter. Claire threw it away. Claire published an essay about surviving. It went viral. She started a support group. She's turning pain into purpose. Lily is 2.5. She drew her family in preschool. 4 people. She knows love, not genetics. And me, I'm a father. Not because of DNA, because I chose to show up. We didn't get the beginning we wanted, but we're right in the middle and end ourselves. That's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything.